Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. Nolxero Hambone gonna drop the point. Drop the point. Nolxero Hambone. What is the point? Drop the point.
Welcome back to another episode of Drop the Point. I'm Hambone and I'm here with Nolxero. What up, Xero?
Not much, man. You know, drop the heroes, get with the Phobos life.
Whoa. Hold up a minute. Did you just mix Drop the Heroes and Phobos?
Yeah, I had to, man. I was just thinking about it. I was like, let's change it up a little bit. You know, a little remix. Remix.
Well, my mind is completely blown. We're back here and we have some more questions from the community. AIM Nation has spoken and they have some more questions. So,
all right.
Without further ado, let's jump on in. We got a repeat asker here, and so we have Dust and Divine. He wants to know, how do you balance content creation, having a family, going to work, also playing the game? He says it seems like one of those always gets the short end of the stick. What do you think?
I think he's absolutely correct. Here's what happens with me. I start my week, and I'm like, I have 50 million things to do. I've got patrons to try to make happy. I've got podcast buddies to make happy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a family to make happy, and then I have work to make happy. And it gets tough because what happens is I'll start prioritizing things as they come. Like, obviously, for me, I'm like, work, because I need that money coming in so I can provide for the family.
Right.
So it gets really hard because, you know, other things start falling by the wayside as, you know, the time goes by, you know, because you're trying to make your money, then you got to try to play the games, and then you got kids. And, man, I tell you, it's really, really hard, and I would say 60 to 70% of the time I don't do the best job at it. And I'm trying to get better, but it's still hard. It's still a learning process. It's knowing when to put the controller down and say I need to go to bed and get the extra sleep tonight,
right,
so I can perform well at work tomorrow. Or so when I get off work tomorrow, I can come home and do something for my patrons, or do a YouTube video with Hambone, or whatever it may be. So it's learning when to say, okay, I have to not do this tonight, or I can't stay up this night, or just knowing when to, you know, do certain things, or when to discipline myself to walk away and say, I've got to have the sleep or whatever, or the time to do these other things. And so that's really hard, but
absolutely,
I'm working on it.
Absolutely. For me, I would say that you're not going to be able to accomplish any of that balance without an understanding family. If your wife wasn't on board enough to know that, okay, Tuesday night, Xero has to record with Hambone, they're going to record Drop the Point. Friday, we're doing the podcast. If your family wasn't supportive, if they weren't willing to be quiet while you record, or any of the things that we ask them to do in order to do what we do, it wouldn't happen. It just would not happen. So I would say, first and foremost, you have to keep the family happy. And you have to keep the balance happy, because when it's all said and done, this is all over the internet. We don't necessarily engage with you guys face to face, but you do that with your family. So if you have strained family relationships, it's going to ultimately wear and tear and show on the content that you create and in the amount of time that you're able to just have fun in the game. So I would say that's where you need to start with the balance for sure.
Well, I'd say for anybody that wants to do any kind of content creation and mix that into their already hectic life, because everybody has a hectic life. The first thing is if you have a family that's willing to support you, the thing I know about my family is I can read my family like a book. And I know a time when I can be like, I can kind of be like stretch them and be like, I got to do this. And I know that they'll be like, oh, all right, you know, okay. And I can feel like I know their elasticity. I know how much I can stretch them there. And then I know the other times when it's like, okay, you know what? I have to do family time. Like right now has to be family time. As much as I want to go and maybe do something with this Bungie guy that I got an invite from or whatever it is, I have to say no tonight, and I have to go. I can feel my family, and I would say that to anybody: is learn your family, learn how to read them, and your friends. Because your friends suffer too. Know how to read them and be like, sometimes you got to say, we're doing friend stuff right now. We're going to do family stuff right now. We got to be friends. We got to be family tonight, just to get that time together.
Right, absolutely, and I think it's important to note that I think always something is gonna fall short. I don't think, unless you're superhuman and you can always do everything perfectly every time, there's always going to be something that maybe that you forgot about or whatever. But the important part is to try again next week. And that's what we do. Sometimes we don't want to record, or sometimes we forget, or you have to work overtime or whatever it is. But the important part is that you come back the next available time and you hit it. And you hit it and you keep trying and you keep pushing. And you'll find that balance. Obviously, we're still learning, we're still growing, doing what we're doing here, but I think we're all starting to find a better balance of work, playtime, and family time. So thank you, Dust and Divine. That was a fantastic question. Our second question is coming from Lead Off Man. He wants to know about content creation versus just streaming. What's the best place to start, and how do you find your niche? Or your niche.
Right.
What do you think, Xero?
Well, the honest truth on streaming and like doing YouTube, we're just going to take those two examples, is I think first and foremost, you should think about which one you like doing more. Whenever you, if you go and put a video together and you just enjoyed every moment of it, and maybe not every moment of it, maybe there was one part or another that was a pain in the butt, but overall you enjoyed thinking of an idea, getting the content you need to create that idea, and then seeing that idea to completion and put on YouTube. If you enjoy that process, then YouTube's probably your thing.
Right.
Whereas if maybe you're that guy that's a real open go-getter kind of guy that can talk to anybody, or woman, not just guy.
Right. We love everybody.
Exactly. Maybe you're real outgoing, you like to talk to people, then streaming's probably your thing, because the big difference between streaming and doing a YouTube video, one, YouTube will make you more money.
Yeah.
Initially. I don't know. I don't know for top streamers how they're making, how much they make in donations and all that. But I'm pretty sure PewDiePie is way richer than the top streamer on Twitch.
Oh, I would have to agree.
Okay, so if it's for money, if you're doing it for money, you probably want YouTube, but you probably want to find a passion, because doing it for the money won't get you. I mean, it's slow to come at first, and it's not something you jump in to get rich quick. So if you're doing any of this for money, you're probably in the wrong business.
Absolutely.
Secondly, it's just finding what you love the most, and I think some people should take the suggestions of people because some people you're really good at. I've had people that are really good at streaming. They say, "Hey, you're really good at streaming." They're like, "I don't feel like I'm good at streaming, or I don't feel like I say the right things, or I feel like I'm nervous, or whatever." It's like, trust me, you're good. I watched you. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. And the really cool thing about streaming versus YouTube, which I was going to get at, but I actually kind of got off my own beaten path.
You were off point.
Right, exactly. Is that the feedback you get on Twitch is going to be instant. You're going to get it right as you're doing things. And sometimes you'll get it later down the road, like, hey, I was watching a stream the other night and it sucked. And it's like, oh, well, thank you very much. But the thing about YouTube is the bigger video you do, the more likely you're going to have a bunch of troll comments on, right? So you're going to get comments, and you're going to have to decipher through those comments to see which ones are legitimate criticisms, which ones are, people loving you. And not to say that you can't do it. I just feel like in our experience with Twitch, I feel like a lot more genuine comes through. Like, I see a lot more people come into our stream and say, y'all guys rock, or hey, I don't like this, or I don't like that. And it's just a real genuine atmosphere, I feel like. And I feel like this, I mean, we still get our trolls. Absolutely. But I just feel like the people that show up for a Twitch stream typically are more engaged and, willing to give you actual criticisms and feedback.
For me, I would say when you're trying to pick YouTube or Twitch, I would agree with Nolxero that you have to look at your skill set and understand, like, these videos that we do here, they probably take me anywhere between 3 to 5 hours to get done, because I have to take the audio, I have to edit the audio, I have to put all the audio together, get Nolxero's and mine, line it up, then I have to put it to a video, edit the video if there are multiple clips, then wait for all that to render, and then wait for YouTube to upload it, put in all your descriptions and your tags and all that stuff, and tweet it out, and the whole process. That's what goes on when I make a YouTube video. When we stream, it's as simple as me filling out a few boxes through the Elgato software, letting people know the title of the stream, what we're going to be doing, who's playing, and then I hit a button. I hit button to stream, it goes live, you play, and like Nolxero said, the feedback is instantaneous. You get people telling you you suck or you're amazing on the spot. For YouTube, it might take a couple weeks for people to watch your videos. Or maybe they never will. And that's the weird part about it. And it's also the same with Twitch. Maybe you'll get on and start streaming and nobody will watch you. Which brings me to my next point, is you have to be consistent. If you look at any of the people who have made it, whether it be Dado or More Console or whoever it is that you watch that you consider successful, when you look at the road they traveled, they had videos that nobody watched for a while. They had videos with 50 people watching for a while. And then they kept going, and eventually they caught on. And that's the curse of anybody who jumps into this content creation thing, is to give up before it's your time. It may take you a long time, and that's what Nolxero was saying. If you're getting in this for the money, no, it's not going to work. That's why you'll see a ton of channels on YouTube with like 6 videos and then no content for the next 2-3 years, because people thought they would be rich by episode 5. And, you know.
Well, and that to that point, man, I've seen channels out there that have, I saw one that was about Heroes of the Storm before it went, to full release.
Yeah.
And this guy had like 200 views of video, and then just seemingly disappeared.
Right.
And that's a good amount of video, or a good amount of views. He had a lot of videos, and they all were hitting like at least 100,000. And I don't know the ad revenue on that, but I know it's substantial enough to probably keep going. The other thing I was going to add to what you were saying is the fact that if you really like doing this stuff, do it. And everything will come. You're going to suck the first time you do it. We all did.
Every one of them.
Right. If you listen to me on the very first episode of our podcast, I mean, I sounded like I didn't know what to say, or I sounded bad. I've gotten better. I wouldn't say I'm the best, or I've gotten to a point where I am, there's no need for me to learn anything else. I am such a good podcaster. I don't need to learn anything else. I'm just so good. I wouldn't say that about me at all on podcasts. And I think there's a lot of things. In fact, a lot of times when we get off the podcast, we all have like a few minutes where we're like, we think we just had the best episode we've ever had.
Right.
And that's almost every single podcast, because every single week it seems like we remember something from last week that we could have done this better or that better. And we have a few weeks. We have a week here, a week there, where we, maybe someone's under the weather, or we don't feel like we performed as well as we did the week before. But for the most part, we feel like we're growing. We feel like we're doing better, and that's what we strive for. And I think that that's the big deal for anybody to really take to this, is don't get down when your first video has 2 views and they're your friends.
Right. Or they're you.
Keep making the videos.
Yeah. Just keep making them because you enjoy making them. And that's the important part, is all of this that we've accomplished. And even if it, to some people, this might seem like huge stuff that we've accomplished. And to somebody that's, further along than us, it might seem like small fries. But
Absolutely.
What it all came out of was the love for the game and the love to game with each other. And that was the thing. It was like, I like you. I like talking to you. We like bringing up these different topics while we're playing the game. We should do something together. And that's what it comes from. Be consistent with your game as well, because I'm telling you, that's huge. But again, like if More Console would have given up, he was covering Destiny before there was an alpha. If he had given up back then and was like, you know what, I'm done, then there would be no More Console. If it's like, there would be no More Console. You have to ride out the good times. Exactly. You got to write out the good times and the bad times with the thing that you're choosing. I'm not saying you can't play other games, but I feel like in order to get started, you have to pick a point, pick a game, and get in. Get yourself established, get a couple people following you that are going to consistently show up to your stream, and then go from there. And as your community grows, they'll let you know when it's time for you to branch out and start talking other games, because they'll start talking about other games. So I think that's definitely huge, is to pick a point, focus on it, and write it out and give it its proper due. I would say if you're not putting at least 6 months to a year in it before you're calling it quits, then you weren't necessarily serious about it or actually informed enough to know that these things take a lot of time. So that's what I would say. Anything else you want to say on that one?
No, I mean, it's like anything else. It's not everybody's going to be a football star.
Absolutely.
You know, some people are going to have to work at it. Most of us aren't going to have to work at it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for those questions. Lead Off Man and Dustin Divine, you guys are rock stars. We love your faces. Thank you for that. If you guys like this type of content, don't forget to check us out every Friday at twitch.tv/AimAssist Gaming at 9 p.m. Pacific. We talk about this type of stuff and more. And if you have a topic or a question you want us to read in our next Drop the Point episode, you can send that to onpoint@aimassistgaming.com or tweet it to us by following @aimassistgaming. Either way, we will get that content and we'll get back to you. That's going to do it for us here today, guys. I'm Hambone, he's Nolxero, and we'll see you when we see you.
Zero.
Drop the point.